Welcome back to another video. In this video, what I'd like to do is show you the weld symbols for V-grooves. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it with just kind of the parts of a V-groove, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw up some symbols, and I'm going to show you how those look. So let's go ahead and get started on it. The first thing we'll do is I'm going to draw a V-groove. Now, a V-groove is called a V-groove because the actual groove itself looks like a V. Okay, so we're going to go ahead do that. Here and up here. All right. Now, believe it or not, all of these things actually have some names and some criteria that they have to be met, okay? The first thing is the angle that goes from this bevel side all the way over here to this bevel side, so we'll go ahead and draw it like this, is called the included angle or groove angle. So included groove angle. So on ours, we're going to probably be a 60-degree angle for most of these. That means that from one side, if we went to the center and we drew ourselves another line over here, this would be 30 degrees, okay? Now, this bevel could be opened up a lot bigger, it could be a lot smaller. It's all in what they've designed on those joints. Like I said, 60 degrees is kind of the most popular or common size out there. So it's what we're going to be welding. Now, the next thing that we have is our root opening, and this will be the distance from this plate over to this plate. Now, I do want to explain one thing first, and that is called the root face. Now, this, let's say this line, this flat side right here, or this flat side right here, would be considered the root face. So I'm just going to draw an arrow. We'll call this one the root face. All right. Now, that root face can be big, it can be small. Ours will typically actually be a nice, brought down to a nice edge. That bevel will go all the way down. But I wanted to actually show you what a root face looks like. So we will have no root face on our welds or our plates. Now the distance from this root face to this root face is called the root opening. And that will be measured from one side to the other. And we're going to do about a 1/4 inch for all of our plates. So I'm just going to put a 1/4 inch. Again, some people like an 1/8 inch here, some people like bigger, some people like smaller. Sometimes you have to do a bigger one, but this is our root opening from here to here. Now, this block right here is going to be our backing strip. The backing strip will run the whole length of our V-groove. Some V-grooves are what they call an open root. What they do is they'll take like a 6010, which is a fast freeze electrode, and they'll actually weld that opening closed. These are for things like pressure vessels and such. We're going to be kind of sticking to more of a structural steel design when we're doing our welds. So we're going to use a backing strip. And that means you're going to actually be laying metal onto that backing strip and bouncing back and forth on that root. So again, we have our groove angle here, our root face, and our root opening from here to here. And I'll go ahead and write root opening, or root gap, I should say, I'm sorry. Gap. Okay, so now we kind of know everything we need to know about the design aspects of a V-groove. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw up some symbols for you guys. That way you can see what those look like. Let me go ahead and I'm going to clean this off and let's start talking about that. All right, so let's say we have two plates that are going to need a butt weld. So we got one plate here and we have another plate right next to it. Now the weld symbol is we're gonna continue on using the same type of weld symbols we've been using. It's just gonna be an arrow that's gonna go ahead and point down to where we want that weld to be placed, and then we're gonna have our reference line coming off of it. Now, a V-groove, if you haven't noticed with like the fillet welds, the actual weld symbol looks like the weld sort of. So we're gonna do a V-groove, so that means our symbol is gonna be a V. Now notice I put that on the arrow side. That means I want this bevel to be put on this side of the plate. I don't want it to be put on this back side. So if I was to, draw out what the bevel would look like, it would be something more along the lines of this. Oops, I'm a little big with that one. All right. So now, if I was going to start putting in some more of my specifics in here, I would go ahead and I would throw a backing strip. It's just going to look like a block right here. So we're going to go ahead and put the backing strip in there. And then I would also put my 60 degrees, can't really totally see that, my 60 degrees groove angle. So from here all the way over to here will be that 60 degrees, and it will always be placed right about there. Now, because we have a root opening, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this 60 degrees down to about right here. And I'm going to put a 1/4 right here, or that was a 2. I'm going to put a 1/4 right there. So now I've got my root opening is going to be the first thing inside that V-groove, and then I'm going to have my 60-degree groove angle. Now, there are some other little things we could add on to here. This backing plate could be drawn as a little, they call it a backing weld. So that it would be a little dome on there if it was a backing weld. What that would mean is you're actually going to do an open root weld, and then you're going to come in and you're going to cut it out, and you're going to weld it from the back side. We won't be doing any of that. That's not super popular, even in pressure vessels. That would be kind of for some like serious boiler making type stuff. We're going to be mostly doing our backing strip. So we got that. We may even give, if we went and we had our notes in here, we might put in our notes what size that backing strip is. Now, if we had, let's say we had a bevel that we need to do, but we didn't want it to go all the way through the plate. Say we only wanted it to be, we wanted it to go in about halfway. So if it looked something more like this, how would we draw that out? Let me go ahead and erase this. What we would do is we would write these numbers over here. The first number is going to be how deep we wanted that bevel to be. So I would say we'll do like, let's say a 3/8. So we'll have a 3/8 over there, and that's telling us how deep that bevel is going to be. Hopefully this plate over here will be, at least a 1/2 inch, if not more, to get that weld size in there. But that's kind of, so for as far as what we're doing, this is it. Now you can add and you can do some different styles of bevels, you can do all sorts of stuff. But for just a basic V-groove, these are all the symbols you're going to need to know. And these will be all the ones that we test on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to link below another set of just welding symbols. I want you to go through and look at all the different bevel designs they have. They got flat-sided V-grooves. That's be where one side of our V-groove is actually flat. This is very popular, just because of how joints kind of work out sometimes. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and link all those ones below. I hope that you check them out. There might be some test questions on those ones, but for the most part, everything we have will be on this setup right here. Let's go ahead and continue on. I hope this helped you. If you had any questions or want to talk about some of the weld symbols, please let me know.